Welcome back to the Big Weekend Show. FEMA Administrator Deanne Criswell is expected to testify Tuesday on Capitol Hill after disaster relief workers were accused of skipping over homes with Trump campaign signs during last month's Hurricane Milton rescue efforts. House Oversight Committee Chair James Comer says this isn't the first time they've done this.
It does appear that they told employees that, and it appears that this is not an isolated incident. We believe this is a pattern, and this is a pattern dating back for the 3 previous years, all throughout the Biden-Harris administration.
Here's what a FEMA whistleblower told Fox earlier this week after accusing the agency of using her as a scapegoat for this.
When I first reported to Florida, I was already on another team. I was there as a specialist. This was the culture. They were already avoiding these homes based on community trends from hostile political encounters.
And it's not just Florida. According to Comer's findings, FEMA has operated with political bias in multiple states.
We've been in communication with other members who have talked with other FEMA employees about incidents of other hurricanes that happened in other parts of Florida and in other states. And it appears that this is a pattern of misbehavior by FEMA employees who were instructed, do not help people in affluent neighborhoods, do not help people with Trump signs in their yards or Trump flags or anything that would give the impression that they were not a supporter of the Democrat machine.
But FEMA claims they've resolved this issue, telling Fox Digital, quote, FEMA helps all survivors regardless of their political preference or affiliation. While we believe this is an isolated incident, we have taken measures to remove the employee from their role and are investigating the matter to prevent this from happening ever again. So, Tom, we've got the FEMA administrator saying one thing, we've got the supervisor saying another, and then we have Oversight Chair Comer saying that he believes this runs deep. How deep do you think this runs? How big of a policy do you think this is?
I would love a crack at being the defense attorney for this FEMA employee who said that they should not visit MAGA people. How about this? How about my client is a hardworking civil servant, and she has been told by the President of the United States, Joe Biden, that MAGA supporters are akin to domestic terrorists. She's also been told by the Vice President of the United States that the head of the MAGA movement, Donald Trump, is an election denier and has been compared to Nazis and fascists. She's also been told by the Department of Defense that MAGA supporters are democracy deniers, and the head of the Department of Justice has put many of these people in jail. So she's just trying to protect her employees, right? Because she's heard all this bad stuff from the head of the government.
Sean,
interesting take, Tom. Very interesting.
No, it's a very interesting point. You know, I mean, he's right. This is the way Trump supporters have been characterized. You know, Sean, the FEMA administrator is going to be before Congress. You've served. What would you ask her?
Oh, this is not going to be a pleasant hearing for her. Republicans will be ready to go. And again, what she said is, this is not me. This is the policy of FEMA. So why was I fired when I was implementing your policy? I think this is about something else, though. If Republicans had done this, which, by the way, they would never do this. They're not these kind of people. But if they had, there would have been whistleblowers inside of government who would have exposed this 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. What I find interesting is that there are no whistleblowers coming forward and saying, this is the way FEMA is treating disaster. What they're saying is, we're not going to actually support, we're not going to give aid to Trump supporters, but we will to Democrats. And it goes to the point that the deep state is real and it's radically liberal, which is why no one came out and exposed this. And also, Democrats, this is their religion. Like, they live and die by politics. They have nothing else. There's no afterlife for them. And again, it's shameful. Good luck to the administrator, though, in that hearing. It's going to be wild. That's going to be, get your popcorn.
I'm sure you'll be covering it on the bottom line. Also, kudos to the Daily Wire for breaking that story. Alicia, I want to get you on this one. So Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy promised that DOGE will cut $2 trillion in government spending, and they have big plans.
We expect mass reductions. We expect certain agencies to be deleted outright. We expect mass reductions in force in areas of the federal government that are bloated.
This is going to be the most transformative presidency, perhaps since the founding of the country. It's going to be a revolution.
Well, it looks like we need it. The national debt currently stands at over $36 trillion. Alicia, I assume FEMA's going to get a look after all this, right? They've also been accused, or we know that they've spent money on illegal aliens as well, taxpayer money on illegal aliens. They've also come under criticism for just their failure in responding to hurricanes this season. So I assume they're going to get a look.
Well, yeah, and I think they've earned some extra attention now, especially with this hearing this week. And so I think that's definitely what we can expect. But also, I've seen critics make fun of what Vivek and Elon are doing, but you have to think about who they're doing it for. They're doing it for the taxpayers. They're talking about overbilling of the federal government by federal contractors. They're also talking about overspending, things like $50 million for research on transgender monkeys, $4 million for Joe Biden's trip to Ireland, and $20,600 for drag shows in Ecuador. This is about the people at home who voted in this new administration to come back and help them with their kitchen table issues, because this is their budget. This is their family budget. Tom, what did I do?
I'm just saying, it's funny. President Trump wants the drag shows here in America, not foreign drag shows.
Domestic.
The money
Guys,
has to stay here.
Transgender monkeys and drag queens in Ecuador, very
to.
serious topics. Shawn, those are very...
I spent 10 years there, but there is so much waste. And again, when we cut these programs back, no one's going to miss it. You're going to have a more efficient government that spends less, it's more responsive, and you're going to go, I didn't know anything changed in Washington, because that money doesn't go to you. It truly does go to the special interests. And what happens is the people who get that little pot of money, they fight really hard to keep it. And I think these guys are going to come in and root it out. And again, maybe it'll help us bring down inflation and bring down that $36 trillion debt.
Well, there's lobbyists for everything. There's probably lobbyists for transgender monkeys, but we'll see. That'd be interesting.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.